You know what time it is. It's time for the Kevin and Nikee Show on iHeartRadio.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Overdose. It's time for the Kevin and Nikee Show. They gon' have it lit up. Yeah, you know, it's time for the Kevin and Nikee Show. They got the airways popping every city across the globe. It's time for the Kevin and Nikee Show. They gon' have it lit up. Yeah, you know, it's time for the Kevin and Nikee Show. They got the airways popping every city across the globe. You know him as a dope actor, Kevin D. Bitten. 360 twice jam, how he keep winning. And you know the baddest actress, Nikee Warren. She so bad you walking past, she had you speaking for her. If you ain't tuning in, this your reality check. You might miss out on your favorite star celebrity guest. When they celebrate, what you do, you get the bell, yeah. During Kevin's corner, get inspired and encouraged, yeah. Bend them corners while you listen, but don't swerve. Find out what's getting on Nikee nerves. What's bothering Nikee? What's bothering Nick? What's bothering Nikee? What's bothering Nick? Keep on playing. Me and Kevin goons and we gon' get you hit. Yo, check us out on social media. In your mobile phone, we everywhere. You other stations played out like a ringtone. Follow me like Bino R-E-M-E-Y. Bino Remy. Pop like Semi. And my flow hotter, thicker semi. Been doing this since I scraped up pennies. But back to the subject, Kevin Nikee.
All right.
All right.
All
right.
right.
All right. All right.
All right.
All right. So we are back. We are back. We are back. We are back for another exciting week, another exciting show, another exciting episode, another exciting guest.
Yes.
We just back for the excitement.
Back, forth and forth. You know the song?
I mean, back and forth and back.
And forth and back.
Your
and
love goes. Remember that?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
You better go ahead and know your old school.
I know my old school stuff.
Okay.
Look, that's it. I'm from the old school. You know, we from the old school.
Yes,
that's it.
You better go ahead and know in that old school now.
But you know something? Isn't it amazing how, you may have not heard that song in like 10, 20 years, but you still remember it. Because those songs are attached to times in our lives, moments in our lives, eras in our lives, and things like that. Yeah. Hey, but before we go any further, first we want to introduce ourselves as we always do each week. I'm actor Kevin D. Benton.
And I'm actress Nikee Warren.
And we are back.
Yeah, yo.
So, before we get started, we just want to, I guess you can call it a public announcement to our listeners and faithful followers around the world in regards to last week's show with our dear friend Danny Saleh. So we decided to, for those that are not on our social media platforms, we decided to take the interview down to the exception of those we had no control over it being up on. So there's some platforms that the show automatically goes up to or up on for people around the world to listen to that we have no control over. But for as far as the ones that we had control over posting, we decided to take the show down because of the quality of the interview. There were some circumstances that happened that were out of our control. And so because the quality of the sound did not represent the Kevin and Nikee Show brand and what we promote and what we project as professionals, we took the show down, and we're going to have Danny Saleh back on the show next week, the week of October 18th.
Yes.
So we did apologize to Danny. We want to apologize to our listeners around the world because we do take pride in giving you guys the best show that we can possibly give you. Because as we always say at the end of the show, You guys are our inspiration. You guys are our motivation. You guys are our encouragement. And you keep us going. And because you keep us going, we want to bring you the best quality product that we can bring. So we're going to redo it. It's going to be the remix, right, Nick?
It's the remix.
It's going to be the remix.
It's going to be the remix.
Next week, we're going to have Danny Soleil back on. It's going to be new questions, new conversation. It's just going to be new. It's going to be a new flavor.
It's going to be a new vibe.
It's going to be a new vibe. It's going to be some new fun.
Yes.
So if you did tune into last week's show and got what you could get out of it, in spite of the quality, hey, we want to make sure you tune in next week because it's going to be the remix.
That's right. It's the remix.
All right. So, moving right along. I guess not moving right along. Go ahead, mix it up. Mix it up.
It's the remix.
It's the remix. Anyway, we just like having fun, man. But we just feel a sense of accountability to our special guests and a sense of accountability to our faithful listeners around the world. Yeah. And we want to do right by people, and it's just what it means to have integrity and to be a professional. And that's what we try to do. Because I can hear somebody now. All that talk about Kevin's Corner and high vibrations and all that stuff. And look what he did. You know what I mean? No. But anyway. But you know what I learned, Nick?
What?
I learned to tell on myself. You know what I'm saying? You tell on yourself. You know what I mean?
Right.
You just own up to your behavior and you just, say your apologies where they're needed. And you keep it moving. You just make it right.
Keep it moving. That's right.
That's it. That's all we can do.
That's it.
All right. It's always a lot to talk about. We got a lot going on.
Yes.
And by the way, I'm reporting from the bubble today. I'm in the bubble. We're gonna talk about it. So without further ado,
y'all gotta see this setup. How we were able to get Kev to talk from the bubble,
I'm
from the other spot, and it sounds like we're together, but we're not.
That's it.
You know.
But anyway, it's now time for the many adventures of Kevin and Nikee.
You know, you guys just do tight.
Remember on that show, what movie was that, Annie, when they were trying to do the auditions for the nanny, and then the African American couple went in there, and she was like, "Ooh, the sun will come out pronto." Let your bottom dollar, and the other guy said, "Wiki, wiki, wiki." And she said, and then Cameron Diaz said, "You know what? Get out of here."
What?
That was so funny, man. That was the Annie with what's her name?
Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx and Javajane.
Yeah, I can't remember the little girl's name. Jamie Foxx.
Kavajane. Yeah, I can't remember her last name, but it was a good one. I really enjoyed it. I actually got the DVD there. But anyway, a lot going on. So I'm gonna let you start it off. Kick it off, Nick. What's going on in Nikke's world?
Man, I am so excited because we getting ready to start filming. And you know, that's my thing. You know, I live in front of the camera and behind it too. So I got the message from one of the, actually two of the directors that we've been waiting on. It's time. It's time to start filming, and I could not be happier.
That's it. Yeah,
I could not be more happier, children, because I have been waiting and waiting and patiently and waiting, and now it's time.
Yeah, you know, it's just a great feeling. Productions. I was going to say slowly but surely opening up, but they open. You know, they're open. Things is back running, but with a lot of safety precautions. There's a lot of safety precautions going on. There's a lot of COVID testing going on, and more COVID testing going on because they want to keep everyone safe on the set of these productions. And we are excited to be back in the swing of filming things. And so, and the one particular director you're talking about, we're going to be filming, I want to say, down at ATL?
Down at ATL. We're going to be filming there. So some traveling going to be going on.
Yeah.
Yes. And then the other director from Jersey, while we were in the, quarantine and different things like that, he was, rewriting everyone's character. And he reached out to me, said, Nikee, your character is even better than the last time. Okay. And you know what I said? I said, okay, so what that mean? He said, it's going to be good. I said, okay, so am I going to be whooping some behind? Am I going to be rolling out with the AKs?
I think you got a violent tendency, man.
No, I don't.
You've been hanging around Michael Bay, haven't you?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Am I gonna be blowing some stuff up? That's what I want to. Yeah. No, I just like to stretch my reel. That's all. I just like to stretch my reel. I like to show different ranges. I don't want the same character all of the time on my reel. So I want to stretch my reel. And these directors, they are listening to us, sister.
I got you. And you left out the horror movie.
Oh yeah, the horror movie.
We got a strong
out in California,
no, not the one in California. Your death scene.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we're in talks about strongly the strong possibility of filming that very, very soon, right? I think that's what you said.
Very soon, yes.
So we got 2 horror films.
2 horror films.
And then the one down at ATL that we should be filming very, very shortly.
And a lot more coming.
Yeah, within the next month or two.
Within the next month or so, yeah. So
we're looking forward to that. We're very happy that sets are, back in full throttle, of course, with Safety Productions. For me, I had actually had the opportunity to film a music video. I was very thankful and grateful for the opportunity to film a music video.
Yeah, that's a nice song, too.
As soon as the productions open back up. And sometimes we film these things, we forget about it. So I'm on my computer and I just decide, hey, let me just Google some stuff and see what I can find. And a lot of times I like to Google things that I've been in that I just kind of want to find out where did it go if I can find any information about it. So I Googled the title of this particular music video. Is by Zayn Malik, who formerly was of One Direction, the pop boy band out of London. And the name of his video was called Better. And I played a private investigator. So I just Googled it, and lo and behold, it pops up.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, sometimes you don't get the notice that, hey, the movie is ready or the video is ready and things like that. So I click it on because I want to see, how much screen time I got, if any, because, we film things and, sometimes you make the cut, sometimes you don't. And to my surprise, man, I got a lot of screen time. And this role, you talk about...
You did.
Yeah, you talk about stretching your character. I was a fan of the movie Enemy of the State, Gene Hackman, Will Smith, and how they were inside the van with all the high-tech equipment. So I got a chance to reenact that, and I had so much fun. And I was just really, happy, thankful, grateful, and surprised. I got a lot of screen time. And it was just really cool to just be connected with an artist of his caliber. Yeah. I didn't get a chance to meet him personally, but I saw him at a distance when he was going into the house. But if you get a chance to check out Zayn Better, the artist formerly a part of the hit
One Direction.
Yeah,
I like that song. I like that song too.
Yeah, he can sing. I can see why he would want to go on his own.
Yeah, and I can see why any of those artists who are always singing in the background would want to go on their own, especially if you have the voice for it.
Yeah,
I mean,
he can sing.
Look what happened to Mary. They were singing backup for a lot of artists and end up being Luther Vandross's wardrobe people. Right. And he didn't even know they can sing. Right. And they told him.
Look at Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey was the backup singer for, who was it? Patti LaBelle?
I can't remember who
she was. A backup singer for somebody.
Yeah, I cannot remember who she was a backup singer for. And look at Mariah Carey. Yeah. She's one of the greatest
of our era,
artists of all time. Yeah. You cannot sit still on a Mariah Carey song. It's impossible. It's impossible.
So that was great, man. Other than that, of course, due to NDAs, we can't disclose a lot of information about things that we're filming, but I'm in the bubble right now, quarantine due to COVID safety procedures, filming a major feature film, with some A-list actors in it. And, as, we move closer to the movie premiering and coming out and things like that. We'll tell you more about it. But they got us quarantined, man. They got us quarantined, just staying away from everyone and just, and I'm going to say this to everyone out there in actor land. We have an extra responsibility right now to remain healthy.
Yes.
Because your employment is going to be predicated on you passing that COVID test. Yep. You took the COVID test too, right?
Yeah, because I was in the bubble, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
I was in the bubble 2 weeks ago for a major production that I was working on, and you're in the bubble now.
Right.
So I know. You have to stay healthy, and when they tell you to quarantine and stay away from people, please do it, because you will lose your job if you do not. Yeah,
you test positive for COVID, and they will quarantine you on your way back home.
That's right.
But that's the way it's got to. They have to remain safe. Yeah. It's kind of crazy, for a lack of a better way of describing it, but we understand that they have to keep everyone safe, keep the production safe, all the actors safe, and man, it's the new normal.
So I got to do it to you.
What's that?
I got to do it. You ready? Can you hear me? Me.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Poor Kevin, he in the bubble.
I'm in the
I
bubble,
had to do
man.
it. I had to pick with him. I got to pick with him while he in the bubble.
I know.
Poor Kevin.
Yeah, but so we just want to challenge everybody to just take care. If you haven't taken care of yourself in the past, this is the time to have incentive.
Yep.
This is the good time to have a reason to take care of yourself, because your employment will be predicated.
Yes,
and here's the thing. Even if you don't have COVID, if you go on set sneezing and coughing and stuff, they're not taking no chances.
Oh, no.
They're not taking no chances.
No.
Because I remember you were saying when you were taking your test, tell them about that. They thought you had COVID-21.
Yeah. The girl told me, she said, Nikee, come on over here and sit down. I'm getting ready to test you real quick so that you can get the set. I'm like, okay. So I said, how long is it going to take? She said, it's going to be real quick. I just got to swab both nostrils. I'm like, okay, cool. So I pulled my mask down, and she stuck, the swab up my nose, and I started coughing and sneezing. She backed up.
Man, like,
She said, are you sick? I said, girl, you just stuck something up my nose. Of course I'm going to be coughing and sneezing.
Right.
She was like, I'm sorry. She said, this thing is serious. I understand, but girl, don't get me fired.
Yeah, I know, right?
You're about to get me fired.
Yeah.
No, do the other nostril so I can get away from you.
Yeah, that's it, man. They're not taking
They ain't taking no chances.
No chances, man. And there's so many safety precautions that will be put in place while you're on set, while you're not filming, while the camera is not going in your direction. And it's the new normal. And this is going to, you know how they say they rush you to wait. Yeah. And remember, that was kind of like the barometer where they gauged if you as an actor really wanted to do this. When you're in holding for 5 hours straight and only on set for 15 minutes, that kind of stuff will tell you if you really want to do it. But with this new normal, this is going to test if this is something that you really want to do.
Because now you have people sticking stuff up your nose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was tested 3 times. You being in the bubble, and because you get ready to film.
Every other day.
Yeah.
Every other day. I'm getting tested every other day. Yeah. And I have not taken so many tests, and I've been just thankful and grateful to God that all my tests have come back negative. And man. But I'm just being real. I mean, we work out regularly anyway. But this gives you that more incentive to continue to work out. Yeah. And even when you go, out into public settings, which they really, of course, in the bubble, they discourage that. So say you have to go to the supermarket when you're not filming. You're going to be extra conscious of having your mask and, standing in line. I mean, people don't monitor the 6 feet. They all on your back. Yeah. So sometimes you got to turn around and give them like the little death stare, like, cuz you're too close.
Please back up off me.
You're either smoking a cigarette or you're coughing and hawking. Please get off my shoulder. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And it's not being mean. Just back up.
Yeah, and of course I didn't say it like that. These are just my thoughts.
Yeah, just
but that's
back
what
up.
Just
give me
up.
6 feet. Just
me
back
6
up.
feet, man.
As a matter of fact, the marker is right there. Why are you in front of the marker? Back up to the marker.
Right.
Okay, let me pay for my stuff, and then you can move up to where I am. But just back up away from me.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's nothing personal, but hey, I'm trying to live.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's just the way it is.
Right.
Sorry, not sorry. That's just the way it is.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah, man. So that's kind of what's going on, man. And but you know what? There is still a level of excitement about this journey. And if it's your heart, it's your passion, what you want to do, you know what I mean? You just adjust and you just keep it moving and keep moving forward. And that's how winning is done. Like Balboa said. So, yeah. So, in other adventures, we had the chance to watch a phenomenal movie. Tell them about that, Nick.
Oh, man. You know what? This movie, and we're going to talk about
We can say the name.
With our special guest. Yeah. If you guys have not gotten a chance to see Sno Babies, you got to check out this film. This film, man, had me running into the bathroom in tears because it brought me too close to home, having lost my niece 2 months ago to drugs. And so that's what this film deals with. And it's so many other lessons that you will learn. I'm not going to give it away, but it's so many other lessons that you will learn from this film. If you see something, say something. Yeah. You know what I mean? If somebody bring you an issue, help out. Yeah. Parents, we got to stop being so busy. Right. I know we got the job and we got the kids and we got the husband and then we got to try and get some me time in. But when them kids come to you and they're trying to talk to you, they got an issue, everything should stop. Yeah. And listen to these kids. These man, I'm trying to tell you, this, I don't want to give the film away.
Well, I want to add to what you just said. Also, keeping a pulse on where your kids are in life.
That's right.
Not only when they come to you and talk to you.
That's right.
And we're going to talk more about this on the show. This is very, very powerful. Very powerful. It's real. It's raw. And it's relevant as it deals with the opiate epidemic and the effects that it has on families. Sometimes this movie is going to have you want to look away. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's going to have you cringing, but this movie is going to move you. It's going to move you one way or the other. And we have the director, super talented director, on the show today to talk more about this powerful movie. It's no laughing matter.
It's not.
It's no laughing matter because all of us have had somebody in our family members, or one of our family members, affected, or we know somebody that's been affected by this opiate epidemic. Right.
And I'm going to tell you, you know how people always say bullet have no name on it? Yeah. Well, these drugs have no name on it either. Right. You take it, that's it. And it only takes one time.
Yeah, and I like the caption on the movie poster. It says it could happen to your family.
It can. And just like that. Yeah. Just like that. Just a simple, it could be so simple as going out and having a good time. And somebody say, here. Yeah. That's it. Or even like we talked about before, going to the doctor, going to the dentist or whatever, and getting prescriptions and different things like that. Go ahead, take it over.
Yeah, and getting addicted to drugs. Just after getting a two-pull. Yep. Things. And here's the other thing. It could be going on right now under your roof, and you don't even know it. Because the parents in the movie did not even know what was going on. So
you got to see this movie.
Yeah, we had a chance to watch it, and it was It was phenomenal. We watched it and it was phenomenal. Yeah. Powerful movie. And that was one of our, adventures that we made it a point to do.
To see it,
prior to bringing our special guest, who is the director of it. And we're going to give a shout out to, all those involved with their project when we bring her on. But it was just a powerful movie, man. And so many themes. And I guess we'll talk about those themes when we we bring on the show.
Even on down to the music selection for the soundtrack. Very powerful. Very powerful. We're going to be featuring the music from the soundtrack throughout our show.
Right.
Very powerful music, for this film. Very powerful. The music and the film go fit together like a glove. Like a glove. That's it. Very powerful.
Yep. So other than that, man, we're always staying on our lines, staying on the grind with our acting and with our radio show. We're always looking for ways that we can expand our worldwide audience more worldwide than it already is worldwide. And, just kind of getting a head start on our characters and character development, scene analysis, and for those things that we have coming up. So the grind never stops, but it's actor's life, but we enjoy it. This is our passion.
Yes, indeed.
And we love it. And we're going to be keeping you guys posted about a lot of stuff that we have coming up. So we have the Indo-American Film Festival that we kind of made mention of a couple weeks ago. That's going to be coming up in November, and it's going to actually air on Fire Stick, Amazon Fire Stick. And so Honor and The News, short films that have won multiple awards and is doing very well in the film festival circuit, will be airing on that, and we'll tell y'all guys more about
very well in the film circuit. Both of those movies, very well. I mean, thank God for that. Thank God for that. All right. So, do you want to tell them where they can find us?
I was going to ask you to tell.
I was going to ask you to tell. Since you all the way in the bubble, let me hear it from the bubble. Go ahead.
Hello. All right, so so we're gonna tell you guys where you can find us. Let's start off with YouTube. Hey, you can actually watch Honor and News before it premieres on Amazon Fire Stick, or actor Kevin D. Benton, actress Nikee Warren. You can watch Honor, the multi-award winning Honor, and the multi-award winning The News. Check it out. You're gonna really, really enjoy it. And while you're also on YouTube, you can check out the Recession web series. You can also check out Old Head, the series on there, and it's also on Amazon Prime. And then while we want to go over to Amazon Prime, check out the Right Path movie on Amazon Prime, a cop thriller that you're really, really going to enjoy. Then they got the Covington Witches on Amazon Prime. Man, they casting some spells over there. Then check out Mercy, the killing of unarmed African Americans. It is a conversation piece, and you're going to want to check it out. What do you do in it? You're in a situation where you could take revenge or show mercy. Tune in, check it out. Then we got Revelation Blue, another cop story. When you're wrestling between the world and faith, doing right, what's wrong, and you're trying to govern the streets of Philadelphia, the tough streets of Philadelphia. What decision are you making? What encounters are you having? Check out Revelation Blue on Amazon.com, Amazon Prime. There you go. And so then they got Single and Anxious on there. They got season 1, 2, and 3. And they also have on Amazon Prime, what else they got on Amazon Prime that they can check out? I was thinking about having
The Right Path.
Oh, we said The Right Path. We said that. All right, so while we're trying to figure out what else we got on Amazon Prime, go over to Stars Network. Check out Jason's Letter. Also, check out Sno Babies is on Amazon Prime. Now, it's on many platforms, but it's definitely on Amazon Prime. Check out Sno Babies, man. This movie is not cutting no corners. And I actually played 2 roles in Sno Babies.
You sure did.
I played the drunk, and I played funeral attendee.
Yeah, and the face that you gave during that funeral, honey, Lord have mercy. Look at him, just evil.
No, I was trying to look, not really evil. I was trying to, I wanted to have a look of concern, like I was really listening to the dialogue, but trying to portray somber at the same time.
And let me tell y'all this, after you guys get done watching Sno Babies, go over to RottenTomatoes.com and leave a review.
Leave a good review.
Go on IMDb and leave a good review, because I'm going to tell you right now, y'all going to hear it on What's Bothering Nikee, because I have some issues.
Right.
They tried to say that Cuties was better than Sno Babies. Now remember, Cuties is about these little girls dancing provocatively to win this contest. So you mean to tell me that you rather look at little girls dance provocative than watch a movie about this drug pandemic that's taking over our children and the families. Come on, I got an issue with that.
Right. All right, we're gonna get this. Let me finish this. Let them know where they can find it.
Okay.
We're gonna get to Wizbot and Nikee.
Yeah.
So that was a prequel right there.
That was a prequel.
Yeah, but we're gonna get into it.
All right,
go over to the Stars Network and check out Jason's Letter. Is a movie about the killing of unarmed African Americans. Star-studded staff. Star-studded.
You can't even talk from the bubble.
Because you done messed me all up. That's right. You know what I'm saying? You just interrupted.
I did that.
Anyway, it's a star-studded cast and a relevant message going on in today's society. Just like Mercy and Jason's Letter, definitely conversation pieces. And so, yeah. Some good movies you want to check out. Yeah. And I done lost my train of thinking. I'm trying to make sure I didn't forget. What else? Did I forget anything? You got to remind me.
You hit all of it.
I think I hit everywhere they can find us.
You hit everything.
All right. So, and we're going to be talking more about what Nick had just said. And then doing what's behind Nikee. So you got the prequel. So y'all going to want to hear what she got to say. Because it just is a barometer as to where our thinking is as a society. When we prefer butt-shaking little kids over teenagers who are portraying a real, raw, and relevant issue that's going on in our society. And people who are supporting or in favor of this nonsense of little kids twerking and working poles and all that stuff, you need to be ashamed of yourself.
Yes, completely ashamed.
Yeah, you need to be ashamed of yourself.
Completely ashamed.
And your mama raised you better than that. At least I would like to think. Anyway. All right. So continue to follow our journey, man. We really appreciate it. And we're going to keep you posted as, our new movies and things come out. So we'll keep you guys posted. All right.
All right.
So we're going to take a break.
Yep. We're going to take a break. But before we do, man, listen.
All right. Listen. We kind of gave y'all the prequel. Our special guest is the director. She's an editor, writer, editorial department of a very, 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 very powerful movie that is out now. It premieres September 29th on many, many streaming platforms. We're going to let you guys know where you can go to watch this movie. You need to see this movie. We all have had someone who has been affected by this opiate drug epidemic.
Yeah.
Or we know somebody. Or it could be going on right under your roof and you not know it. It's called Sno Babies. And it is real.
Yes.
It is raw.
Yes.
But it's relevant.
Yes.
It didn't cut no corners. It didn't sugarcoat. And it's going to bring about a lot of good conversation about facing this thing. And we have the director, the super talented director on the show, a dear, dear friend of ours. And we can't wait to talk to her. Don't go nowhere. Don't touch that dial. This is no laughing matter, guys. It's the Kevin and Nikee Show on iHeartRadio. We everywhere, and we will be right back.
All the scars and all the lines on my face, they show the times I've abandoned my own life. Why? I can't breathe, I can't eat, so I just drink myself to sleep and embrace this morbid price. Maybe it's time to heal, maybe it's time to try. In my life, well, maybe I'll sober up, maybe before I die, maybe I'll finally deal with all the wreckage in my life. but I was never strong enough. I wish I had the guts to say, maybe it's time to heal. Maybe it's time to try. Maybe it's time to deal with all the pieces in my life. Maybe I'll sober up. Maybe before I die. Maybe I'll finally deal with all the wreckage in my life. Maybe it's time. And this was self-infliction. Yeah, I was on a mission to ruin everything in life. But now I'm so damn ready. Just take my hand and steady, and we will make it through the Maybe it's time to heal. Maybe it's time to try. Maybe it's time to deal with all the pieces in my life. Maybe I'll sober up. Maybe before I die. Maybe I'll finally deal with all the wreckage in my life. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's time.
Satisfy your sweet tooth with some tasty treats from the Brownie Shop. Fudge cupcakes, sweet potato pie, freshly baked bread, homemade ice cream, creamy chocolatey brownies, and much, much more. Check out their full menu on Facebook Brownie Shop or Brownie Shop 2019 Instagram. Get your next dessert from the Brownie Shop. Your sweet tooth will love you for it.
Urban Elite Beauty LLC is an online urban beauty supply store that serves both men and women in urban communities. Our goal is to provide quality beauty solutions for our culture and community. Most importantly, we want to instill in our friends the importance of loving thy hair, loving thy skin, and to love thyself. Check us out on social media on Facebook at Urban Elite Beauty, on Twitter at dbenton71, on Instagram at urban_elite_beauty, and for more information, go to our website at www.urbanelitebeauty.com or email founder and CEO David Benton at dbenton@urbanelitebeauty.com or call 609-217-5292. Check us out and see what the Urban Elite Beauty experience is all about. All right. That's powerful.
Yeah, I love that song.
Maybe it's time to heal.
I love that song.
Yeah, maybe it's time.
Maybe
it is time to heal, man.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
maybe it's time. I love it.
All right, that was great. That was great,
yeah.
man.
Love it. I love that song.
That was just powerful, passionate. Yeah, that's good stuff. We ready for our special guest?
We are ready. We are ready.
Oh, all right. So our special guest is a super talented film director, editor, writer, born and raised in South Philadelphia. She graduated from Temple University, where she studied theater and communications. Our special guest got her start as an actress and later got into stand-up comedy. And after moving to New York City, she landed a feature spot in Comedy Central's long-running series, Premium Blend. While living in NYC, our special guest directed several theater productions before directing her first feature film. She has since gone on to direct and edit several other feature films, including Lucky Jack, Right Before Your Eyes. We had, our guest, we had him on. Yep. Yeah, David Vince Bob, we had him on the show. The Retaliators, that's going to be coming to a streaming near you. We're going to tell y'all about that too.
Yes.
And we'll talk about that at a later date. And the newly released, highly anticipated movies we've been telling y'all about from the start of the show.
Yes, Sno Babies,
which was acquired by Better Noise Films. Now, Sno Babies was a passion project for our special guest from start to finish. And her hope is that Sno Babies starts the conversation and brings awareness to this horrific heroin epidemic. Our special guest believes that exposing the unvarnished, real horror will open people's eyes and encourage them to look at themselves and their loved ones. Their goal with this film is to save future Christians and Hannahs from this living hell. Sno Baby is more than a film, it's a movement, and she can make you laugh, but with her latest movie, Sno Baby, this is no laughing matter.
At all.
And who are we talking about?
Yes.
None other
than Miss Bridget Smith. Woo!
Miss Bridget Smith, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're doing great. We're doing great. We're better now that we got you on the line. And before we get started, just want to say, thank you so much from the top, middle, and bottom of our hearts for, just availing yourself to come on the show and share your gifts, talents, and abilities. This powerful movie, Sno Babies, and even making it to touch lives. Thank you so much for it. And just your understanding as a filmmaker that we have a responsibility to tell stories that touch lives. While we do the entertainment stuff and the cinematic liberties that we take, we do have a responsibility to touch lives. And you have taken that head on, and you've done a fantastic job.
Yes, you have.
So thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. So go ahead, Nick.
We're going to jump
Sno Babies
right into it. It's all about Sno Babies today. I'm telling you, man, this movie completely touched me. It really did. Having lost my niece 2 months ago to drugs, I had to stop for a minute, and I had to go into the bathroom, and I got really emotional, and I had to get myself together, because everything that these two girls were going through, my niece was going through the same exact thing. So it hit very close to home for me, and I had to just take a minute. So let's talk about this film. I mean, because it says this is very near and dear to your heart. So let's talk about it. So Sno Babies, how did you come about with this?
Yeah. Well, first, I'm so sorry about your niece.
Yeah.
I hear so many. Since we started making the movie, going back to even way before pre-production, when Mike and I were working on the script, and all of a sudden your antenna, I don't know if it's my antennas went up or I became more aware, but all of a sudden I feel like everywhere I looked, somebody was telling me a story of losing a loved one, or they knew someone who lost someone, or it was just so incredible how many stories there are. And how many lives this addiction, this subject matter has touched, and even hearing yours right now, it's so wild. But
2 months ago,
Mike. So this script was written by Mike Walsh, and he's just a fabulous screenwriter. Mike was, 20 years ago he won a national contest, and he was going out to LA with his family working as a screenwriter. They were bringing him out, but someone in his family, I believe it was his mother-in-law, came down with cancer, and all of a sudden he had to make a decision. Their family just couldn't go at that time, and they had bought a house out there and everything, and so he pretty much just realized that was a life-changing decision, and one that he knew, you make a choice. He chose family. Mike and I didn't meet till 20 years later, and he had this script, and he sent it to me because he said, I would love for you to direct this. I really want to do it, And I read the script, and I was so blown away by the script, and it was so interesting because it was a view of addiction I had never really even considered, because everybody is aware that there's addiction around you, and there's drugs, and But until I did Sno Babies, I actually didn't realize the gravity of it.
Yeah.
I really,
yeah.
I feel almost like everybody else, like a little ignorant to it. Like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't know this was as big of a problem as it actually is.
Yeah.
And so the script I just thought was so great, and the way he ties in, I liked it. One, it was the perspective of the addict, which I don't know if you get all that much. Sometimes a lot of movies I've seen which were good, but you'll get the perspective maybe of the mom,
Yeah.
or the dad. But the addict sometimes gets lost in that.
Right,
so this was really from the perspective of the addict, but then the way it trickles down and affects family and then ultimately community. And I love the way he weaved all those storylines in and brought it to a head at the end. I really love that.
Yeah, that was good.
Because nobody lives in a vacuum.
Yeah.
Yeah, they affect everybody.
Right.
So that's how it came about. But then from there, usually a director and a writer will then work together on a script. And in this case, Mike and I just did just ridiculous amounts of research and we got very close and personal to families that have lost children, teenagers, or their children to addiction, family members, and then recovering addicts. And one of them was a young woman who was using at 14, but at 16 she was a full-blown heroin addict, and her life so closely paralleled Kristen's that it was actually pretty scary. To the point that we could not use that resource. So then we dove in with her and started adding in so many details and so many specifics, and so much of Kristen's journey was was based so much on this young woman. Because I think people who don't experience this on their own, I think they think it's like, oh, this is melodrama. This is over the top. And it's like, it's actually not. We could have gone a lot farther. And we, believe it or not.
Well, you guys really, really, really dug in deep with that research. And shout out to Mike Walsh. We don't want to leave him out. Mike Walsh.
I definitely wanted to reiterate that. Shout out to Mike Walsh, Marianne Walsh, Philly Born Productions. We got Roy Koryakin, KFAB Productions, the whole entire cast, crew, and production. Seven Secret, we got Retaliators, and then Sno Babies. You guys are such a family, and that permeates even through the pictures that that you see on Facebook. You guys are such a family, and that makes a difference in the type of work that you produce. You can tell that some research. You can tell that some in-depth research went into this movie. Because I'm gonna be honest, as I was watching it, I was learning things that I didn't know that's how they did it. I had one concept of how it goes down, and I learned, kind of like a more full-blown facet of this thing. I mean, I knew that it was bad, but in terms of, it's almost like y'all took us inside the life. Like we could be a fly on the wall of the attic, and we were right there in the room. You know what I mean? And it was, sometimes you had to turn your head away and you kind of cringe. This movie was very real, very raw, but very relevant. It did not cut no corners.
It didn't.
It's going to scratch you where you itch. And this is so needed because, maybe a lot of people don't know. Or I like the caption on the movie poster. It could happen to your family. And this is a generation that doesn't care until it hits to trouble, knocks on their door, or they get the phone call.
That's 100% right. And that's the thing I think that bothers me so much about addiction is people have a way of writing off this type of thing to, that that would never happen to my family. That only happens in poor neighborhoods. That only happens in broken homes. That only and I used to hear that so often. I'm like, wow. I'm like, how it's so ignorant, so naive. And it got to the point where I started to appreciate the story more and more, because what we're putting in your face is, yes, it can happen to you. You think you're perfect, for all those people that think they have this perfect little life and perfect little world, and somehow that means these things won't touch them. It's like, no, it will touch you.
Yeah.
You're not.
Yeah.
It doesn't discriminate.
Yeah. Because the young lady in the film actually said that.
Yeah.
She said, you can come from a good home,
At the end,
you know, but
Right.
inside you're dying.
Right.
You know?
And she said you could have you could have all these things.
Have all these things.
Yeah, you have all these material things and kind of feel like you have your life in order and be just miserable and in shambles on the inside.
Yeah.
And I mean, I definitely gotta. I mean, as we give a shout out to the entire cast, everybody did a phenomenal job portraying their characters, but we definitely gotta give Katie and Paola. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. They did I mean, they
fabulous job.
Did a fantastic job.
Fabulous.
Portraying their characters in a believable way, and it was real. I mean, it was very, very real. But Bridget, I gotta ask you this because I actually played two characters. I was the drunk, and then I played the funeral attendee, right? So before I ask my question, I had already filmed.
We put Kevin everywhere.
I see.
I know. So I had already filmed the drunk scene, and then Miss Rise. Shout out to Miss Rise. You know, and Harry casting too. They did a fantastic job of casting this movie. And Bridget, y'all guys, it was a team effort.
Team effort.
Yeah. So Ms. Roz
team
called.
effort is right.
That's right. Ms. Roz called me and said, "Hey, you know, they're doing a funeral scene, and you know, we need you to come down." And I was like, "Well, Ms. Roz, you know, I already filmed as the drunk." She said, "Well, you got yourself together and came to church. Now, just get on down here now." So I said, "All right, I'll be there. I'll be there in about 10 minutes."
She is quick with it.
She was quick on her feet, wasn't she?
She is quick.
Yeah, she was quick on her feet. But again, it was
Roz is the best. Roz told me. Roz said, Kevin could come, but do you care that Kevin? I went, I don't care. No one's gonna know that Kevin. I said, Kevin.
Look, the movie touched me while I was filming the movie, so I got myself together.
That's right.
Got off drugs and drinking. I came to church.
You clean up well. You clean up well.
That's right.
Got a haircut and everything.
That's it. That was it, man. Couldn't even tell me. That's it. Awesome.
No. Are you kidding me? And then, of course, when you were there, I said, well, I am, because I edited the film. I said, I am going in on Kevin.
You sure did.
Cleaned up.
Yeah, you sure did. I definitely appreciate it.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. But there were so many themes. Of course, the overall theme was the drug opiate, but then there were some themes that kind of supported that. You had the mom who was just so busy chasing the corporate ladder, and so many different things. Then you had the lady who she was asking for help. To me, I was like, she took a long time before she really said something.
I don't even think she said anything.
She did. She did eventually say something,
but it was a long time before she did it, though.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about those themes that play a role in assisting, maybe not paying attention when something could be going on right under your roof.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think, and people have different reactions to the parents. I think some people see it where they understand, because let's face it, when you're in that world, you get how you get distracted. You get how you're so focused on the future that sometimes you miss what's happening in the present. Everybody does it.
Right.
Right. And honestly, my approach was not even my approach with the family and the parents was not a judgmental one. I was trying to depict a typical two-parent working family.
Right.
And everybody always assumes suburbs are like, oh, rich girls. I'm like, man, you got that so wrong.
I know, right?
Absolutely. For real.
People say that, and it kind of annoys me. I'm like, you can't just assume because someone's in the suburbs they're rich. People are working their asses off, and a lot of them, their bank account has just enough to pay the bills, and then it's empty until the next. And this is a two-parent working family that you could tell, like, their money's on their mind. Like, they have two kids. How are we going to pay for college?
Right.
How are we going to do all these things that we know are coming our way? And they're both very consumed with that. And in doing so, you can miss things. And let's face it, kids, I mean, teenagers on a good day, who the hell? when your teenager shuts the door and locks it, how many people actually want in?
Right.
I mean, it's like, thank God, go, please.
Right. That's true. That is true.
You know, teenagers they're difficult in that they make it abundantly clear they usually don't want you around. It doesn't make anybody feel so great.
Right. That's true. That is true.
They can be moody.
Right.
Yeah,
you know, you know, there's no judgment there. I mean, life is. I was just trying to portray that family life that is very prevalent that I see and I know, which are busy working parents and, you know, kids coming home from school, letting themselves in, and that's just the reality, right?
Right.
I mean,
Absolutely.
And so for the family, I did always kind of see it like that and based it on probably 80% of families I know, believe it or not, who are, you know, trying to live that American dream, so to speak, whatever that is. And then, and for the character of Valerie, you know, I think it's very easy for us all to watch and yell at the TV like, you should tell the parent, you know.
Yes.
I think one of the big things I think a lot of people won't admit to is that a lot of people don't want to get involved in this. A lot of people don't want to get involved, and a lot of people, I think, would rather her come forward to her family than rat her out, because that's how a lot of people would feel like, oh, I'm breaking a trust, and she had this trust with this kid that I think she was put in a very unusual, vulnerable situation, which I shouldn't say unusual, because with the addicts that we've talked to, everybody had that person in their life. Everybody across the board had that person, unfortunately, that they manipulated, and that person that they used to help them, and they all had those stories. So, you know, she wasn't that character to me was very believable in that I think she was caught in a situation and she didn't know what to do. She knew what was going on, and she very much wanted to help, and she wanted to do it in the right way. And I think it's very hard when you're dealing with an addict to know what is the right thing to do. What is the right thing? And I think people probably make a ton of mistakes. And I'm sure if you've talked to people that have had addicts in their life and who have lost people, I bet you the number one thing they say, if only I knew, if only I could go back and do it differently. If only. So, and that's what I always felt about that character, that she just, you know, and the minute she decided, you know, the minute she makes the decision to help, is it too late? You know what I mean? So isn't that life? Like, it's just like, damn, you just can't win with in life. Sometimes you just takes you too long to make that decision to act, you know?
Yeah. And it's funny because if I was in the movie, I would have told. My name is KYW. I would tell all the business.
And Nikee would have said, Nikee would have said.
I would have told.
She in there in the barn right now.
She over there right now.
Behind the bushes. See her sneakers?
That's right. For real.
Yeah, man.
I know.
But that's I mean, that's.
And I think there are people like that.
Yeah.
But help right away. I think this character was a little more passive about it and unintrusive, and I think she felt caught because the girl was Kristen was relying on her so much, put so much trust in her, and I think she was tormented with violating that, and so she kept trying to get her to tell the parents, I'll come with you, but you have to tell them, you know what I mean? And
man, I mean, it's just very, very, very powerful, man. Just very, very powerful, very, very moving. And it's like all the various different themes are just running through my head right now. Another, I think was a powerful theme that you brought out in the movie was the date rape that goes along
that goes
with,
along with
you know, this drug thing at parties and stuff like that. You know, very, very, these scenes are, you know, it's kind of like they allow your mind to fill in the blank, but it took you there. You know, it took you there. Your mind definitely filled in the other half, which made it more emotionally charged and more intense. And just talk a little bit about that thing, because that's a huge issue within the scope of the opiate, you know, epidemic. date
Yeah,
rape
that's
goes
what,
on.
again,
It goes with it.
Mm-hmm.
It was a big decision because I remember along the way, a few people were like, "Are you sure you want to do that scene? Maybe you should just allude to it and not." And I was like, "Well, as a female,
That's
who's
right.
had inappropriate things happen to her, no, I don't want to allude to it.
Right.
Why would I allude to it?
Yeah.
I mean, people are, it's so interesting, like the amount of violence and horrible things I see in movies and on TV. And when it comes to something like this, I've heard so many people say, you should not show it or allude to it. I'm like, really? I just watched like a man lit on fire.
Right.
But I can't show
And pushed out a window.
This actual very real thing.
Yeah.
So,
But Bridget, you want to...
I'm sorry. I didn't want to hide that.
Yeah, and I'm glad you didn't, because that happens.
Right.
It happens.
And,
It happens.
Yes, it happens.
And
it happens. The stories we heard, there were so many of them. That was unfortunately, it's one of those things that anytime you put yourself as especially as a female, any vulnerable person in a situation where you lose control of your senses, and it's just such a scary thing. Like me as a person, that's for me personally, one of my biggest things when, believe it or not, when I was a teenager and I was even in college, and I would see so many kids around me drunk or just out of it at parties, that idea always kept me in check, because the idea that I would lose control of myself, that I am no longer in control of myself, that's a frightening thing for me. I don't know if it's because I'm a control freak but that idea always kept me in check, and it always kept me from going too far at parties, from drinking too much or doing anything, because I never wanted to lose that control. Because, man, you're putting a lot of faith into people around you.
That's right.
When you put yourself in a situation, so that's frightening. And that the number of, unfortunately, the number of young women that are heroin addicts. If I told you the number of pregnancies, oh my God! I mean, for whatever, I don't know if they all happened because of a date rape. A lot of them, unfortunately, have happened for reasons like that. But it was just one of those unfortunate. Look, it was a very difficult part of the story to tell, but I think it was right.
Absolutely,
and
it was.
Absolutely,
it was right.
Absolutely. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, like you said, we can watch somebody get lit on fire and pushed off a bridge, and we'll find that entertaining. But the reason why I think that people struggle with stuff like that, or they make comments, is because it's hard to get around truth. And sometimes people don't want to face the truth.
Exactly.
And that's really what it is. While the truth sets us free, it also allows us to face reality. And truth causes us to have to acknowledge. And I'm so happy that you put it in there, because it was truth. It's what is going on in this world, in our society, that needs to be addressed. And I don't think it would have had as much as impact or power had you just alluded to it, where in the form of a conversation or something like that.
And the interesting thing is, I know someone said something, like someone's like something about it being graphic, and I was like, the scene was shot. The way I shot the scene was very faithful. It was as disturbing as it is. The camera never went below their chest.
Right.
The camera is, you know what I mean? Like you could shoot things in a very tasteful, creative way, but when you actually look at the scene, it's more emotionally disturbing than anything.
Right.
It's emotionally, it like just jolts you.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there's no nudity.
There's no nudity.
The camera never goes below the chest.
Right.
And like I said,
their faces.
The scene was shot so well that it made your mind fill in the blank. Exactly. And so they're saying this stuff from
filled in the blank.
They're saying these perspectives from the standpoint, like you shot it in a less tasteful way, but it's actually the audience's mind filling in the blanks and being emotionally affected from that perspective.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
This movie did not sugarcoat anything. It didn't sugarcoat nothing. It put it out real raw and relevant. And some parents need to get their children, have all their kids over, and sit them down at the television. Hey, we're going to have a party. Put this movie on and watch it.
And we're going to discuss it after. We're going to have a little dialogue.
That's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
Keep these kids off drugs.
Yeah.
That's what needs to happen.
Because this movie...
I agree.
Yeah, this is one of those type of movies that takes a lot of weight and pressure off of parents.
Yep.
Because it can say what they don't want to say.
Exactly.
Hey, sit down, like Nick said, watch this movie. We're going to have a pizza party. Bring all your friends over. And I just need 15 to 20 minutes of y'all time afterwards. And then y'all can go play video games and PlayStation and da-da-da-da-da. You know what I mean? But it tells a story where if it's hard for you to do it, the movie can do it for you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And then you don't even have to say nothing. You say, this is what happens when you're on drugs. Say no and walk without the door.
Say no to drugs.
Say no to drugs.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Have a good day.
That's it.
Good night.
That's it, man.
Say no to drugs.
It's a great conversation starter.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
for sure. Like you could, like, because I said that a friend of mine actually was asking me what age, and I was like, I said, look, I know on Amazon it says 16. Definitely. I mean, it depends how sheltered your child is, but I don't know who's kidding who here.
But that's right.
I mean,
that's right. Thank you, Bridget. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, I don't know who's kidding who. Like, everyone acts like, I don't know, parents are the last ones to know. If you think you have a 13-year-old that's too young for this movie, you're kidding.
Yes, absolutely.
Real.
That's right.
For real.
Unless you live, it is possible that you live a very sheltered, naive life, or I shouldn't say sheltered and naive, but rather you're succeeding at keeping your child in a bubble. And if you are succeeding at keeping your child in a bubble, well, hats off to you.
Right.
I honestly, I see what's out there. I see what's on social media. I see how kids are relating and talking to each other.
Yeah.
And, there are things hidden in everything, like these kids that are in the gaming. I also see the conversations that go along with that with other gamers, and you're kidding yourself if you think that they're unaware of everything going on out there.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
Yeah. I'm so happy that you said that. I'm so happy you said that.
Yeah, because I really believe it. I mean, and keep in mind the young woman who was a big influence. She came from a good home in the same suburban area that we shot this film. And she was, she started fooling around with drugs at 14, at 16, full blown heroin addict. So you tell me, what do you think's too young? I mean, it's happening. So, then there's nothing you can do to stop it from happening. And people who think they pay a lot of money to send their kids to private schools, that somehow they're going to escape it, you've got to be kidding yourself.
That's right. That's right.
It's more available there than anywhere.
It sure is. It sure is.
Yeah. So it's one of those things. It says 16, but I disagree. I think younger than that should watch this film. There's some things in it that, like my friend's 11-year-old watched it and they covered her eyes for the they made her bury her head for the date rape.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, he watched it and they said the conversation afterward was unreal. Mm-hmm. And her commentary during it was unreal. Like she was vocalizing at, back at the girls, and she was vocalizing at Valerie, and she was vocalizing at the characters, and it sparked a very nice discussion. And she was 11, and I definitely know 12 and 13-year-olds who watched it with their parents, and they had phenomenal conversations afterwards. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I definitely think parents and definitely early teens should check it out together.
Yeah.
Look, if kids is watching Chucky and Friday the 13th at 11 years old, they can watch this movie. Go ahead.
Right, Kevin? I mean, you don't even I'm the same way, because some of the stuff I see kids watch, like even some of the video games, like I am not drawn to violence at all. I'm actually still one of those people that covers their eyes, and I'm like a 10-year-old watching violent films. I'm the worst. And some of the gaming stuff that I see them playing, I'm like, you just blew someone's head off.
Right.
Doesn't that upset you?
And blood squirting out their neck like Mortal Kombat.
Got brain matter
Zombies,
everywhere.
they got all kinds of zombie video games.
Yes.
Come on now, they can watch Sno Babies. They
can watch Sno Babies.
They can watch Sno Babies.
Like, come on now, you can't be letting them play Friday 13 on Mortal Kombat and then you don't want to watch Sno Babies because it's too graphic. Please, come on.
That's crazy.
Because it's too graphic.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
They rather living in a bubble or under a rock, whatever come first. Well, anyway, that's just my commentary, but I don't count. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Now I know you have, Sno Babies is on, some platforms and different things like that. But how can we get Sno Babies in the theater?
Yeah, that needs to be in theaters everywhere.
Theater everywhere.
Yeah,
Everybody
absolutely.
needs to be flocking to the theater to go see this film. I'm trying to tell you, it needs to happen.
Yeah. It's interesting. It was going to get limited release in the theater, and but it was happening. It happened. I think that was supposed to be in June, and then the whole COVID shutdown happened, and the whole marketing team had to go back and reevaluate, and that's why they decided that this could go on for another year with the theaters. I mean, at least
absolutely.
who knows where we're going to end up at the end of this. I hope theaters come back, because there's nothing like watching a movie in a theater.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute now.
There's nothing like watching a movie with a live audience.
What's that theater? There's a theater.
What's that?
That we can get it in?
Well, no, when she say limited release, she's talking about in multiple theaters.
Oh, okay.
Maybe on the East Coast or whatever like that.
Okay.
So it's in theaters, but just
in certain areas.
So maybe like 20 theaters on the East Coast between, like that. That's what, which is still great. Which is still great.
Yeah.
Which is still great.
Yeah, I feel as though everyone needs to see this movie.
Because you have to remember, this is not a big Hollywood film. This is an indie. This is a low budget indie.
Right,
you know what I mean? And I think sometimes people forget that. Like, sometimes I'll read a comment that'll go, these Hollywood films. I'm like, Hollywood?
I know, right?
Hollywood. I'm a
well, thank you for the compliment.
What are you talking about? Get a grip. Like, learn that this isn't a Hollywood film.
Right.
But we've just been very fortunate in that Better Noise came in and acquired the film, and thank God for that, because Alan Kovac and Nikee from Motley Crue and 6 a.m. is huge with this topic. They are massive supporters on this battling this opioid and heroin epidemic. And so when Sno Babies got in front of them, they just jumped on board. They loved the film and they loved this message, and that's why the film has been given the exposure. And now we're teamed up with the Amy Winehouse Foundation in the UK.
Nice.
I was just about to ask that.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's all due to Better Noise coming in and acquiring the film and taking it to places that we could only dream that it would have been that it would be taken. So we've been very blessed. We've been very fortunate, but at the end of the day, you can't forget this was a low budget indie shot in and around Philly by indie filmmakers, and that's and you guys are in film, you know what a challenge that is.
Yeah.
Bringing a movie like this to life. It's a labor of love. No one's in it for the money. I assure you that when you're doing it. And so we've been very lucky. And then all of the artists on the soundtrack, again, Better Noise just brought it. They just brought it, and all the artists jumped on board, and a lot of the artists, a lot of the artists, especially the artists for Recovery, the Maybe It's Time, which is phenomenal. I'm sure you guys have seen it. They're all very open about battling addiction. Every one of the guys who jumped in to do that song, which is in the movie. It's also it's featured in the film. But they all have their own demons that they battle with addiction, and they jumped on board. Yeah. So again, like that's all a blessing.
Yeah, absolutely.
That soundtrack is fire.
It
really is.
It's fire. That soundtrack it's just, and I'm sure Nikee would agree. After the movie was over, you just sat there and just looked at the screen. Mm-hmm. After all the words were finished going up, you just sat there and just looked at the screen for another 15 minutes because you were trying to process and internalize everything that you just watched. The soundtrack, along with the composing, went so perfect with what was going on. It added an emotional charge along with the scene, what was going on in the scene. And that connection was just like peanut butter and jelly, man. Yeah. It fits so perfectly. Yeah.
It's like a glove. How you say it? Like a glove.
Yeah. It was.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you.
Yeah, it was very, 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 very powerful. Yeah, very, very.
Yeah, I definitely think the music is almost a character in and of itself, and I personally love movies where the soundtrack is a character in the film. You know, it's just its own voice.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we wanted for this. You know.
Yeah.
Definitely that same feel.
Yeah, it definitely was mission accomplished. It accomplished its goal. And you know what I mean? It accomplished its goal.
Very good soundtrack.
Like I said, the soundtrack, it was just if you listen to the words, it just went so perfect with the scene that it was playing along with the action. Yeah. And it was very, 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 very moving. And this is the type of movie where after it was over, after you sat there and just looked at the screen, everybody will be walking out of the theater quiet. And sometimes you need movies like that. Sometimes you need people to walk out contemplating and just thinking. It don't need to be like, Wolverine slashed his head off, man. That was so nice, man. And high-fiving. Sometimes you need to walk out and take something home with you.
Yeah.
And this movie did that.
Yes, it did.
Yeah, this movie did that.
Very good. Very good indeed. Very good.
Well, thank you, because that was the desired effect. I think to just have people almost just thinking and just thinking
right
afterwards about
very good job.
What you had just seen, what you had just witnessed, and so good. Yeah. I'm glad.
This is the type of movie that should be in assemblies and high school assemblies, maybe even middle schools. Across the country, maybe across the world.
Absolutely.
That would be awesome because, like I said, the movie speaks for itself. You know what I mean? It's one of them things where after the movie's over, you can just drop the mic and pretty much be like, "Need I say more?" But I know kids would have questions. You know what I'm saying? I know they're gonna want to say something about that. And it's always that kid that might be struggling with the addiction themselves. They got that question that they want to ask for their friend, but it's really for them.
Exactly.
That's good. That's what you want. You know what I mean? That's what you want.
Yes,
that's
exactly.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or wouldn't it be great to get them before they do anything and go?
Yeah, preventative measures. Absolutely, it'll definitely be a preventative measure. Definitely a preventative measure, and for those who are struggling, it would be something that will give them hope. You know what I mean? That, hey, look, we have resources.
Yeah.
I love how at the end of the movie, you put the phone number up there. That speaks to what your purpose was. That speaks volumes of what your purpose was.
Yeah.
You put the phone number up there for people to get help.
Exactly.
There is help. There are resources out there. There really are. And you just have to reach out, and there are people, there are solutions, to this. So it's important to remember that. I also think it's important too for parents to just get a little insight as how easy it is to miss things. That when I think one of the biggest things I heard from parents who had lost their kids, very similar to like our story, but they had lost their children to addiction. I think one of the things we've heard the most is if they knew now what they didn't know then. If they knew then what they know now. Everyone says, I wish I could go back. I would have done things differently. But they'll all tell you, I didn't know what I was looking at.
Mm-hmm.
I missed the signs. Because the signs are not glaring. It's like, did you ever go to WebMD and you look up cough? My God, you could have lung cancer or you could just have an allergy.
Right.
That's how I think of this, where the signs are not glaring.
Right.
Because they coincide with so many other things. So your teenager's moody. Okay, they're sleeping a lot. Okay, what teenager isn't?
Right, that's right.
Their eyes are, red. They're spending a lot of time alone. You see in the movie how well she dodges the questions, and she hides, and they hide the addicts.
Mm-hmm.
They hide those needle marks. They're very creative with where they hide the needle marks, and they're expert liars. And I think any addict will tell you they're expert manipulators. Anybody who's known an addict will tell you. I have no problem saying it because I've had them in our family. They are brilliant manipulators and brilliant liars, and they'll be the first to tell you that.
Yeah.
And so, no one looks at their, moody teenager who keeps to himself, and no one looks at them and says, "Oh, my kid's a heroin addict." No one ever. Why would you ever think that? So, I just think it definitely, hopefully, raises a little awareness and maybe gives parents a little heads up as to, wow, I really could be missing something here.
Right.
And what you might want to do differently so you don't go down this same road.
Yeah,
what could you
absolutely.
do differently?
Absolutely.
So when people are angry at the parents, I'm like, well, good, get angry. What would you do then?
Right,
whatever you're
exactly,
doing,
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
One of the things I used to, I when I was younger, Nikee probably could speak to this as well. I know that dinner time was kind of like family community.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where mom could ask questions and dad could ask questions about. And of course, if you are a heroin addict, you're going to have that lying component. But it was a time carved out in the day where parents could at least try to put a pulse on what their kids were doing and thinking. I know that's kind of lost in this generation. It's kind of like, it's like, kind of grab and go McDonald's and drive-throughs.
And nobody's and nobody's spending time with each other.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah,
a lot of that time's lost. And think about like how many distractions there are in life that prevent you from having a really honest communication with the people around you. I mean, between computers and cell phones. I just feel like trying to get someone's attention and having a very focused conversation is such a rare thing.
Yeah,
nowadays.
It is.
And
it really
is.
It's
like, it's so hard to, I mean, it's funny. I had the privilege of watching the film. So I have my sister who, and I have a 16-year-old niece, and she invited her friends over, and they invited the parents, and they all sat and watched Sno Babies. And I came over and sat way in the back. And I wanted to gauge their reaction. So it was very fun for me listening to them yell at the screen and stuff. Yeah. But at one point, one of the dads was like, he's like, how could you not know? How could you not know? And he was mad at the parents because they were at dinner. And they were at dinner, and he's like, your daughter's she's high right now, getting stoned, and you're at dinner. How could you not know? And I was hysterical, and I couldn't help myself, but I said, hey, I just want to point out last week you guys were at dinner, and I said, where's my niece? And they said, I think she's at large. And they just looked at me, and they all started laughing. I said, it's very easy to sit in judgment, these crazy, outrageous loser parents. But
right.
Yep. Like, you guys, all the parents, go to dinner on a regular basis, and the kids hang out at the house. I said, and you know what they're doing? Like, do you have cameras up? Are they body cams on? And
Right.
So it just made me laugh, like how people how they refuse to see the parallels.
Right. Yeah.
That's good, Bridget.
That's powerful.
That's good.
That is very, very
real
powerful.
good.
It's true.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so true. I had a dad that's so annoyed that, how could a father be that out of touch? And I'm thinking, you work 16 hours a day.
Right.
I know you.
Yeah.
You travel. Are you want to sit here and pretend you're in touch?
Right.
That's
like,
right.
You want to kid yourself like that? Have at it. But I'm not supporting it.
Yeah.
Right.
She calling them out. That's right,
you know
Bridget. Call them out.
But
Call them out.
Everybody out.
Yeah.
That's
You
right.
know what? But that's one of the
everybody out.
And that's one of the powerful components of the movie, because it really can serve as a mirror.
Yeah.
You know, as a mirror, as I'm looking through the lens of these characters, what am I doing? Am I in touch as I need to be? Do I have a pulse? And then, being able to voice, we're going to call them out on shows like this. Yeah. Then that makes it even better, because it makes them step back and say, yeah, that's true.
Because
that's true.
Yeah. Because
100%. The number of times I've said to people I'll go to my friend's house and they have a 15, 16-year-old. I'll say, where's so-and-so? Like, I think she's at. I'm
right. Yeah, it's like,
and that's true.
Yeah.
Because it made me look at what I was doing in regards to my niece. Where was I at? Was I paying attention? Like, when she called me on the phone, was I willing to talk to her? It made me look at myself as well. Yeah.
What was that like for you, Nikee? Like, what was that like, having a personal experience and watching a lot of this? Did you see a lot of parallels?
I sure did. I really did. And that's why, it moved me. I had to excuse myself and go into the bathroom, because it completely moved me to tears, because it was like, I'm looking at this girl and I'm also looking at my niece.
Right.
And I'm saying to myself, what did I do to prevent this? Did I do enough? Did I talk to her enough? Did I go and spend time with her enough? Right. So, it had me looking at myself, so I saw a lot of my niece in this film. It got me very emotional. I saw a lot of her.
And I would just add too, like, this movie is so multifaceted in how it can affect people. Mm-hmm. For the ones that are not doing it, it's gonna make you say, I don't want to do that. Right, for the ones that have done it, it makes you say, hey, maybe I can get help. I can get clean. I'm experiencing this. It allows them to see themselves. Yeah. For the people who may have had regrets about feeling like, hey, I could have done more, this movie gonna make you say, hey, but moving forward, it ain't gonna be no more. Exactly. It's not gonna be no more lagging back and dropping the ball. Exactly. So it's gonna motivate people on different levels, and it hit everybody across the board. Mm-hmm. It made you want to do something, whether you had experienced it or not, to be able to say, hey, I'm gonna do our part. And maybe there are people out there that, I'm an advocate of, if you can't do it, support somebody who is doing it. Yeah. So, of course, me and Nikee, we went on IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes. We left our 10, 20-star review on it. Post on Facebook. Bring you on the Kevin and Nikee show. This is all a part of us sharing that burden. But here's a director who has done more. Done great. Yeah. So if I can't make a movie, I'm going to support somebody who did. Exactly. And it's really not about me being in it. It's not about me being in it. I have family members who have died from the drug opiate or are being affected. Mm-hmm. So this is near and dear to my heart as well. It helps that I'm in it, because it gives me a extra special connection with it. And then my family are going to look at that and they're going to have an extra special connection with it because I'm in it. That helps. Yeah, but look, we want people out there in Kevin and Nikee show land. Get behind this movie. We're going to ask Bridget to put out there where y'all can go see it. Leave a good review. If you don't have nothing, as we say back in the day, if you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. Anyway. Yeah.
Don't say anything.
Yeah.
My God.
Yes.
When I go on social media, I say that all the time. I'm like, you actually took the time to write that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's amazing to me. like the things people say. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Like that? It's mind-boggling.
Yeah, it
Isn't
is.
It's so sad.
It really is sad. It really is sad.
But you know what, Bridget? I look at it. Sometimes compliments come turned inside out, and sometimes when people are saying negative things about the great thing that you've done, really, in essence, if I can translate it, what they're saying is, you did a great job.
Exactly.
And I'm just a little bothered by it. You know what I mean? So why don't they just write that? Let's just cut to the chase and write that. We have a little bit more respect for you. Write that. Be honest with yourself.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right. Be honest with
yourself.
It's so funny.
Yeah. Well, listen, Bridget.
No, it's so true.
Yeah. Well, you've been a dear friend, a phenomenal guest. You have a phenomenal movie. We want you to take this time to just put out there, where can people go watch the movie? I know it's on Amazon Prime, but I know it's on Vudu. Take your time. Put your website out there. Sno Babies movie, I know it's .com.
Yeah.
Take your time. Put it on out there so people can, watch it.
Yeah. So, all the platforms are listed on SnoBabiesMovie.com.
Mm-hmm.
You can find them all right there, but it's on Amazon, it's on Fandango now, it's on iTunes, Google Play, Vudu, and Apple TV.
Yeah.
Nice.
Real nice. It's on a lot of platforms.
Real
you
nice.
can rent it. You can, if you don't want to buy it, rent it.
Yeah.
All the other important thing is that the Better Noise, the production company, is donating all the profits from the studio's portion of the profits are all going to really great causes. In the UK, it's going to the Amy Winehouse Foundation.
Nice.
In the US, it's going to the Global Recovery Initiative Foundation, which is responsible for funding programs for early recovery, because the first 2 years of recovery is the most important in the recovery process. It's those first 2 years, and that's what they fund. So awesome. We're kind of putting the money where our mouths are and saying, look, every time you stream the movie, every time you rent it or buy it, that's where the proceeds are going. They're going to recovery programs and to support people in recovery. And
awesome.
So hopefully we can do a lot of good there as well.
Nice.
We gotta get
the
you get the best.
Yes. And the clapper.
And the clap.
I want to be part. I don't know where you are, but that's where I want to be.
That's awesome.
I feel like I'm pissing out, man. I gotta be with you guys. I gotta come to where you are.
Awesome. Well, look, as we always say on the Kevin Nikee Show, you were already family before you came on, but once you come on the Kevin Nikee Show,
you're family.
And you have our continuous support. And Sno Babies and whatever you guys are doing.
And we're going to keep blasting this film.
Yeah, we're going to keep blasting this film and putting it out there. And
thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
We all do.
Yeah, man. And we love you guys. Mr. Mike Walsh, Marianne Walsh, Bridget. We got Roy Koryakin. We got Miss Roz. We got Harry Casting.
Philly again, my DP.
Yeah. What's everybody? Lottie Dottie. Everybody. They had anything and everything to do with this. We wish that we could just list everybody's name that was a part of these various different productions.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah, we want to just shout out everybody, man. And everybody did such a fantastic job. The whole entire production, cast, crew, everybody that was connected with this movie, Seven Secret, Retaliators, and Finding Christmas, Losing Christmas, whatever.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's it. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, and the next time,
and
the next time y'all do a film, put me in it. Have my character name be KYW.
You better believe
so next time any of the parents don't want to tell, they come to me and I'll tell all the business. I do it for them.
She'll be the neighborhood gossiper. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. I tell all the business for them. Just have them come to me and I tell it.
Guess what, Nikee? If we do a Sno Babies 2, I'm recasting you as Valerie.
That's right. I will tell the business, okay? I will tell it.
That's it. Valerie 2.0. Yeah.
For real.
Yes. Yeah.
For real. I will tell on you, okay?
Yeah, she will. She will tell on you. She will tell on you. She done told on me a couple times.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, but continued success and blessings to you guys. We love y'all guys, and
thank you so much for coming on our show.
You have our support. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This was powerful.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Yes. All right.
Bye.
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 Yeah.
Man, wasn't she awesome?
Awesome sauce.
She was
awesome
just
sauce.
She was just fabulous.
That Bridget is such a beautiful soul. She's such a beautiful soul and a beautiful person and a talented, super talented in her own right. And like I said, Mr. Mike, I'm thinking about Miss Marianne, of course, Miss Roz. We got Harry Casting, Philly Born Production, Roy Koryakin, line producer extraordinaire. We got to definitely have him on the show, man. It's a team effort. It's a team effort, and they are a close-knit family and a close-knit team, and they are about their business. It's not about money. It's about passion. It's about purpose. It's about projects.
You can see the passion all up in this movie.
Is it, man? Is it,
you
man?
You can see it.
Yes, it is. It is.
You can see it.
And they're positive. They're so positive. Their vibe, their energy, their spirit is so positive, and being on set with them is such a joy.
Yeah.
You know what? We definitely have to have a part 2 because remember I told you that when we were filming the church scene at the end, how when Paola was doing her monologue, she started crying and things like that, and Bridget stopped the production. She went up on the pulpit, ran up the little steps, and she talked to her. You could feel the love. You could feel the compassion. And then she hugged her. She hugged her. And I meant to ask her, take us to that moment in the conversation. And when she went back down and said, all right, quiet on set, roll it. You know how to go through
Then she brought it out.
Yeah. And she went up there, as we saw in the movie, at the end, she was crying, and she used whatever she was crying about in that monologue that was so powerful. Remember at the end how she said, I don't want to give it away, but she talked about the one point she felt a little responsible.
You know what? To your point, I wanted to bring that up with Bridget as well. You know, having that young lady take responsibility. Yeah. Because I remember when we were trying to figure out who was responsible for my niece, and nobody would come forward. Yeah, which is to be expected. You know, which is to be expected. In this day and age. Exactly. Here, this young lady took responsibility and said it in front of everybody. And here's the thing. And here's yet another theme. Yeah. Maybe it was purposeful. Maybe it was just inevitable in the context of the movie about, hey, take responsibility. You know, when things go bad. And also, like I said, the motivational piece is take responsibility before things go bad. But I really wanted to ask her, take us into that moment. What did you say that brought that out of it? And I'm going to tell you, you look at the pictures, and of course we're going, we have the collage up in the show page. You can see the love with the actors. It permeates from the pictures, I'm telling you. You can see the closeness. And Bridget's right in the middle of all them pictures. You know what I mean? And it translates to the set, which translated to this movie. It was just a powerful interview. Powerful movie. Yeah. It was great, man. It was great. And I just hate it when after they get off the show, I think about something I want to ask. That always happens. That was the one thing I wanted to ask her. Take us into that moment. Because, I mean, as we were on set, I was curious. But I know after she stepped down and said, all right, quiet on set. All right, rolling. Whenever they go to their location. Paola brought that monologue. She brought it out. She did. She did a fabulous job. Shoot. And I was not expecting her to say what she said. Yeah. And I said to myself, we tried to get the person, whoever did that to my niece, to come forward, and they never did. Yeah. You know, so, they get the bell again. Very good. That was powerful. That was very, 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 very powerful. This is an interview that's kind of hard to let go. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because whether you have a connection with it or not, is you understand the magnitude and the meaning of the purpose of the film, including the film itself. And for us to have, for lack of a better way of saying it,
so much fun conveying what we conveyed. It just speaks to the positive people involved.
Exactly.
It speaks to the positive people involved that we can convey a serious message in a non-threatening way. You know what I'm saying? In a non-threatening way. But at the same time, we're charging people and motivating people to understand that this is very, very serious.
Yeah.
And that it could happen to you or your family.
Or your family.
Very, very proud. This was great, man. This is a great interview. Just so honored to have her. So honored to be connected with them, to be able to call them our dear friends. This is one of the things I love about this acting journey. The beautiful people you get to connect with. Because Nick, I'm going to keep it real with you. I've shared this with you before. You probably can say the same thing. When you get into acting, you ain't thinking about no awards or nothing like that. You happy to just get your fingernail in the scene.
Exactly.
And be like, that's my fingernail right there. You know,
that's my toe.
That's my toe. You see my toe? And you taking a screenshot of your toe.
Yes.
And you're looking to connect with positive people and the experience and the journey of being on set and the magic that we make that removes us like an escape from the negativity that we face. That's what you look forward to. And then, you know, as you continue to commit to it and things like that, you have that extra stuff happen where you win a couple awards and get on a good show and get some screen time. That's the cherry and the whipped cream on top. You understand what I'm saying? You know.
Good, very good.
Yeah.
All right.
So we gonna take a break?
Yep, we're gonna take a break, and when we come back, when we try to come back,
I was gonna say
it's gonna be time for news and sports. Everyone knows someone who is struggling with drug addiction. We want you to know that there is help. For help with addiction, dial 1-800-662-4357 and get the help that you need.
Scholars Professional Editing Firm consists of a specialized group of academic doctors, editors, and statisticians that keep doctoral candidates moving through the academic doctoral process. The Scholars Group accepts doctoral dissertations, capstone projects, premise, research studies, research proposals, and oral defense preparations and presentations. The Scholars offer both qualitative and quantitative research assistant data analysis, dissertation editing, writing support, and mentorship through their bootcamp 8-week online program. The Scholars Professional Editing Group will keep you moving. And for more information, visit www.thescholarsedediting.com. That's www.thescholarsedediting.com. Or contact Dr. Tamika Haynes at 281-315-6053. All right.
Woo! Powerful. Okay.
Very, very powerful.
Very powerful.
All right. So,
yes.
What we got now?
Now it's time for news in sports.
All right. So, in sports, it's no secret the Los Angeles Lakers won the World Championship, the NBA World Championship, 106-93 over the Miami Heat. LeBron James had 28 points, 14 rebounds, and 10 assists for a historic triple-double. AD added 19 points and 15 rebounds, and the Miami Heat was paced by Bam Adebayo's 25, 10, and 5. And we got to give a shout-out to Jimmy Butler, who put forth a valiant effort. But the Los Angeles Lakers are the 2020 NBA World Champions. All right. So that's all I got in sports.
All right. Well, in news, a father from Las Vegas, Nevada, is coming under fire right now because he did not want the police officers to break his window to get his daughter out of the car. His daughter was sitting in the car, and he had gotten into a heated argument with the daughter's mother, and he locked the baby in the car. The keys were in the car as well. He had the car running. He said the air conditioner was running in the car at the same time, but Las Vegas, Nevada, you know, hot. So the baby overheated, and she died. So the father, as well as, I'm going to say this. The father is coming under fire, but people are also blaming the police department because they should have just broken the window anyway, despite what the father was saying. He didn't want to damage his car. He just bought it, but the baby is in the car. Meanwhile, baking while he's trying to figure out how they're going to get this baby out of the car. Now, that's part of the story. The other part of the story, which we have to find out, and we're going to keep you guys posted on this, but the other part of this story is that they're saying that the father had strangled the baby.
Oh, wow.
Put her in the car and use the key locking in the car syndrome as a way for, him to not get in trouble for strangling the baby.
Right.
So, they're like, Nikee, take a look at the story. And I looked up on the story. I said, well, we'll find more about this as the autopsy report come out. But I'm going to tell you right now, if that father did anything to that baby prior to him locking her in that car, he going to come even under more fire. Yeah. Because the truth is going to come out what really happened to that baby. Yeah. And I hope that he did not do what everyone is saying that he did to that baby, because they're saying that him locking her in the car is like a cover-up. Yeah. So I'm hoping that did not happen. Yeah. I'm hoping that sadly, you don't want anything to happen to the baby, but I'm hoping that all it was that he accidentally locked the baby in the car, and he didn't do anything to the baby prior to locking her in the car. Yeah, and then and then like you said, we look at the kind of like the lesser of two evils. Yeah. It's still an all around bad. It's still all around bad. Yeah. Whether he didn't do anything or he was negligent in terms of locking the baby, because the baby ended up dying. She ended up dying. And so there needs to be some consequences, and the father taking responsibility for his actions, his negligent or whatever alleged actions. You're gonna have to own up to those. Yeah. It's just sad, man. Like, how did we get here as a society where parents are potentially bringing harm to the children, and I don't know. I mean, you want to leave room for everybody to make mistakes, but it's one of them things that if it pans out to be that it was just a negligent mistake, there's an innocent baby who had to suffer for that mistake. And I'm not trying to say that the father is the victim if this be the case, because it is possible that he could have strangled her. With all that's going on in the world, we know that is a potential and a possibility with all the things that we see going on and the harm that people are doing to children and babies due to mental illness, being on drugs, as we so eloquently talked about throughout the show. So it's just sad, man. Yeah, it's very, very sad all around. And, nobody wins in none of these types of situations. So. Yeah, and in other news, plot gone wrong. Kidnapping plot gone wrong. I know where you're going with this. Woo, there was a foiled kidnapping plot for the governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer. The plot, they were able to foil this plot, and I'm so glad. Oh my God, these people! And one of the guys was from Bear, Delaware. Oh yeah, I heard. The ringleader from Bear, Delaware. About 13 people, 13 suspects, including one of them, the ringleader from Bear, Delaware, had plotted to kidnap, torture, and execute Governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer. And the reason why, some of the reasons that came up why they wanted to do this is because they didn't like her handling of COVID and the quarantine. But here's the thing. They even had plans to storm the Capitol. Oh, wow. Storm the Capitol. And they even had some police officers on their list that they were going to take out too. Wow. And so they got them, and, I'm glad that Gretchen is okay, and shout out to the law enforcement for coming in and foiling this plan. That was a mess. Yeah, and I heard about that. Yeah. Poor Gretchen. She was like, I have been in politics for, she said, the number of years. She said, I have never, she said, I've been in things where it's dangerous, but I've never had gone through anything like this. She was a little speechless about it, and I'm like, what the heck? Torture, kidnapping, and execution. They were going to do some things to her. Wow. These people, my God. And they showed the faces of all 13 suspects, that they didn't have the picture of the ringleader.
Wow.
They didn't have the picture of the ringleader, so that
the
was
the things that people think of.
The things that people think of, man. I tell you, I was like, what in the world is going on?
You know, that's the sign that you have too much time on
your hands. Yes.
But you know what? Since you got too much time on your hands, you can do it in jail, but you got plenty of time to think about it.
Plenty of time. Wow. That's it. That's all I got news.
That was enough.
That's all I got news. People been talking about that, and they also been talking about this fly that landed on Pence's head during the vice presidential debate.
Yeah, I heard about that too.
And they kept making fun of this fly, and somebody came out with a meme with Biden had a spatula, and they selling the spatula.
Oh yeah, I saw it. Yeah, the fly swatter. Yeah.
Not a spatula, a fly swatter.
Yeah.
And he was had the spot. So all these memes are out, and then they got memes out.
Oh my goodness,
get on my nerves.
This is crazy, man. Yeah,
and they got memes out with Harris's face, all the facial expressions she was making during the debate. I'm telling you, people are just crazy. I mean, listen, whatever gets you through the day, but that fly boy, you should see they had on Instagram. They had some commentary. They had the fly actually talking while he was sitting on the head. I'm telling you, the things that they had that fly saying was cracking me up. I was laughing so hard. Man, I tell you.
You know that when you said the fly talking, it reminded me of that 60s, the Fly movie.
Yes.
When the little fly was saying, "Help me."
Oh, and speaking of that, you know, people started watching that movie.
Yeah.
That movie started trending.
Oh, that's a classic.
The Fly started trending.
Oh my goodness! Wow. Anyway,
that's it. That's all I got.
Oh my goodness! So,
oh my goodness!
All right, so
yes.
We're gonna take a break, and when we come back, it's gonna be time for my favorite part of the show. We're gonna find out what's bothering Nikee. Well, we gave y'all the prequel early. We're gonna get the rest of it. It's the Kevin and Nikee Show on iHeartRadio. We're everywhere, and we will
be right back.
For a moment I can't wait. It's a fight I guess I'll never know. For a moment I can't wait. I'm holding on to hope. And I know you're stoned, I can see it. The struggle's getting old. For a moment I can't wait. 'Cause you said you're sober, lying and I can't get closer. Tell me, should I let you go? Tell me, should I let you go? 'Cause you said you're sober, lying and I can't get closer. Tell me, should I let you go? Tell me, should I let you go? Every moment I'm awake, it's a fight that you could never know. Every moment I'm awake, I'm clinging on to hope. And I feel so low, but I'm dealing. The struggle's getting old. Every moment I'm awake, but I'm getting sober. Trying, but I can't get closer. Baby, did you let me go? Baby, did you let me go? Now I'm getting sober. Trying, but I can't get closer. Baby, did you let me go?
starts with acceptance and talking.
And we cannot lose the future.
You know, in recovery, we learn to accept everyone as they are because we all suffer from this common disease. It doesn't discriminate. It just wants to destroy your life.
For help with addiction, call 1-800-662-4357.
All right.
Man.
All right.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
That's powerful. That's
very, very powerful.
Powerful. And as we said earlier, all the music that will be featured on the show will be that of the soundtrack of Sno Babies. And very, very powerful, man.
Very powerful.
It's hard not to be moved and listen to those words, let alone after you've watched the movie.
Yeah.
All right, so now it's time for my favorite part of the show. It's time to find out what's bothering Nikee. What's bothering you, Nick?
Well, we've already talked about it just a little bit in the beginning of the show. I have, you know, I struggle, I wrestle with people's thinking sometimes. I wrestle with people and where they are in their thought process over certain things. I find it difficult to understand how we can praise babies twerking, shaking their behind in front of camera, and that movie is just blasted everywhere. But we have a problem with talking about drug addiction and our children.
Yeah, like the movie with twerking get good reviews, perfect reviews across the board.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I would think that this movie here would be more of a conversation piece than that movie.
Right.
You know what I mean? I just don't understand people's thinking at times.
You're talking about cuties, right?
Cuties. I don't understand, you know, the thinking. How cuties can have a higher rating than this movie. This movie is dealing with drug addiction, and drug addiction is affecting our children. It's everywhere. Yeah. It's everywhere.
Well, not just children, adults
too.
Alike.
You know, it's and people are dying because they can't seem to get a hold of this drug. Like I said, I lost my niece 2 months ago to this addiction, and I just don't understand how people just feel that it's too much, it's too harsh, it's too real. Well, it's supposed to be. Right. It's supposed to be real to the fact where it makes you take a seat back and be like, hold up, that's not for me.
Right. Make you take some kind of action.
Yeah, like this is not for me. I remember, you know, in the movie where, and I'm not going to give it away, but in Sno Babies where there's a young lady who was just standing up against the wall. Well, somewhat. She was trying to stand up against the wall and she wasn't touching the wall. She really wasn't touching anything. This girl was high as a kite. High as a kite. And I remember...
Slow motion.
Yeah. And you had the other girls was just filming it. Yeah. And I remember talking with my brother and he was very upset. Same thing. My niece was standing outside and she was barely touching the wall. She wasn't touching anything. She was just barely there. And what were people doing? Filming it.
Yeah. They find human catastrophe entertaining.
Yes.
Instead of stepping in and doing something and helping, calling an ambulance or, you know, trying to find out what the problem is.
Yes.
They're filming it.
Yes.
They find this entertaining. This stuff ends up on Facebook and Instagram and all that old stuff.
And that's exactly what happened. So he found out who the people were who filmed my niece and who put it up on Facebook, and he said, "Listen, I'm her father. Please take that down."
Yeah.
Please take that down. We're trying to get her some help, and it's very difficult for us right now. And what we don't need is you guys making fun of her. Right. She comes from a loving home, and this is an unfortunate thing that has happened to our family, and we're trying. Please take that down. Right. And, you know, my niece, you know, she ended up, you know, passing away, you know, and it's one of those things what we find as entertaining. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's just really sad, you know, the thinking of people sometimes, and it's just really sad, you know, reading, you know, the remarks, the comments from the critics, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah.
This is what needs to happen.
Right.
We have too many kids and adults, like you were saying, who are victims of this drug.
And I'm gonna tell you, I was kind of glad, and I shared this with you, that I read the critics' remarks before I watched the movie, and so by me kind of doing it that way, and I didn't plan on it. I, just hearing about, first of all, being a part of the movie, wanting to support it, and things like that, and going on Rotten Tomatoes and just, read some of the criticism. Then I watched the movie, and I'm sitting up here like, it's not making a connection.
It wasn't making a connection at all.
And then so then my other thinking kicks in. Okay, these critics must have a problem with truth.
Yeah.
These critics may have saw themselves in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you were the one out there selling drugs.
Right.
Maybe you the one had a family member die of drugs.
Right.
Because truth gonna make you do one of a few things. You're gonna rather face it and get free from it and make changes, or truth is gonna make you avoid it and attack and blame.
Yeah.
And you saw a lot of critics who were attacking and kind of, that it was that compliment turned inside out.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that you can't just say great job. You have to do it in the reverse way by saying negative things. And like Bridget said, you took time out of your busy schedule
to
think about and write all that.
Yeah.
And it's still not going to stop the movie from doing what it's going to do and being what it is.
Yeah.
So
I just find it hard.
Yeah.
I just find it hard, what we rate
right
as not good. We can rate Cuties with a high 10.
Right.
But a film that talks about drug addiction and trying to get help for people who are on drugs, you rate that as low as you can rate it. Yeah. And I like the film because it went in deep.
Right.
It went in very deep as to how these people as to how our children, what they do to get that high.
Right.
Yeah, we don't want to think about it, but it's something that we have to.
Well, and the thing about it, if people are faced with it, it's going to force you to.
Yeah. Because
like I said earlier, people don't care unless it affects them. And when this is under your roof and you're being affected by it, you haven't changed your perspective. And there's an old saying, the way people treat you is not a reflection of who you are, it's a reflection of who they are.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put it in the context of what you're talking about. The way those critics criticize Sno Babies is not a reflection of Bridget or what Sno Babies is and all about. It's a reflection of who they are.
Yeah.
Maybe they were forced to deal with their pain watching this movie.
Yeah.
Maybe it brought up some stuff they don't want to face nor accept. And say, okay, I know what I'll do. I'll turn it inside out and make the movie not as good. Well, even if you did that, you still didn't remove your problem. You still got your same problem, critics, that you had before you wrote the review. You still got your same issues that you had before you wrote the review, the negative review.
Yep.
So how did you win?
Yep.
You didn't.
Yep. That's it. That's all I got. You see something, say something. Don't wait until the last minute, because by that time it's too late. It's too late. It's too late. You see something, say something. The people who were videotaping my niece could have called the cops and said, hey, there's a lady out here. She could have got help then. Could have been put in rehab then. She could have been here.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you see something, say something, please. Say something. Don't just keep it to yourself. And don't think that, oh, well, her parent may know. No. You see something, say something. That's it. That's all I got.
All right.
All right. So we're going to take another break. And when we come back, it's going to be time for my favorite part of the show, Kevin's Corner. It's the Kevin and Nikee Show on iHeartRadio. We're everywhere, and we will be right back.
The person you knew yesterday, I've been
help with addiction, call 1-800-662-4357.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
Love it. Love it.
Powerful song.
Love it.
Powerful song.
Very
song.
powerful.
Yeah.
Love it.
As we said earlier in the show, all the songs that we are featuring on today's show were our songs of the Sno Baby soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Check out the movie. Check out the soundtrack.
Yes.
As you can hear, very powerful.
Very powerful indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Very powerful indeed. All right. So now it's time for my favorite part of the show, Kevin's Corner.
All right. We're going to keep the high vibration train moving.
Choo-choo.
We're in week number 79.
Yes.
We're going to deal with two more characteristics. It's number 124 and 125. And see, this lets me know, like I said, I'm on the right track, man. Just saying what I'm supposed to be saying because it's going to fit, once again, perfectly in conjunction with what we've been talking about. So, characteristic number 1 is, you're operating on a high vibration and frequency of life is when you have a desire to make the world a better place. You tap into your gifts, your talents, and your abilities, as well as your passions and your pain, and you use it to encourage, to inspire, to inform, to instruct, to motivate others. With the good experiences in your life, you can tell and show people how to do it. With the bad and ugly experiences in your life, you can tell and show people how not to do it.
Mm-hmm.
All in all, our purpose comes out of using the good, bad, and ugly experiences in our lives to make the world a better place. All right, which brings me to my second characteristic of the day is you desire to touch the lives of others, especially around you.
Mm-hmm.
It is to leave a mark on someone's life, etching into their hearts a memory that they will always remember and never forget. It means that one's words, deeds, and or actions has touched the very core of another person's being. It has moved another person deeply and passionately, sometimes to tears of joy, gratitude, thankfulness, being instructed, being informed, moves you to thinking, contemplating, introspection, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
So we understand that we have been put on this earth to leave it better than before we arrived. We will put a premium on touching and impacting the lives of others around us and making the world a better place. And the challenge is, are you making the world a better place by touching the lives of people around you? Positively.
Nice.
That's all I got.
Love
That's
it. Nice.
That's it.
That fits so perfectly.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Put
right.
it out there.
All right, guys. So thank you from the top, middle, and bottom of our hearts for tuning into another great show, great guests, great conversation, great music, great everything. Just a great show. You guys are our motivation, inspiration, and encouragement. And as long as y'all keep tuning in, man, we're going to keep bringing y'all the best of the best weekend.
Yes.
We do what we do for you, and we can't do what we do without you. I'm actor Kevin D. Benton, and you can find me on Twitter at Kevin D. Benton, on Facebook, Kevin D. Benton, on YouTube, you can find us, actor Kevin D. Benton and actress Nikee Warren, and on Instagram, you can find me at actor Kevin D. Benton.
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook, Nikee Warren, on Twitter at Nikee Warren, and on the gram. Hello, I'm Nikee. That's spelled HELLOIMNIKEE. You can find our show, The Kevin Nikee Show, on Facebook at Kevin Nikee Show on Twitter, and The Kevin Nikee Show on the gram.
Yeah.
And if you have any questions, comments, concerns regarding our show, hit us up, KevinNikee@yahoo.com. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns for our special guest,
Miss Bridget Smith,
hit us up, the KevinNikee@yahoo.com. We'll read it to her, get the answer, and read it back. And like I always say every week, who knows, your letter can be featured on our show. Listen, people, you see something, say something.
Yeah.
Speak up for these kids. Speak up. That's it.
all right.
All right.
So we're the Kevin and Nikee Show on iHeartRadio. We
Yeah.
are everywhere, and we are
Outta here.
Peace.
I'm standing in the dark. I've been challenged from the start, but I know it is video games at the arcade. It's nothing new to me. What you doing there? I've seen it all time and time again. I had to fall for me to find my head. I'm staying true to me. Yeah, I know who to be. It might be hard for you to comprehend. The way we are, but life is not the end. I'm standing in the dark. I've been damaged from the start, but I know it in my heart that I won't be broken. What you doing there? I've seen it all time and time again. I had to fall for me to find my head. I'm staying true to me. Yeah, I know who to be. It might be hard for you to comprehend. The way we are, but life is not the end. I'm standing in the dark. I've been damaged from the start, but I know it in my heart that I won't be broken.
For help with addiction, call 1-800-662-4357 and get the help that you need.
You have been listening to the Kevin and Nikki Show on iHeartRadio.